I just made a video. Talking about how my expectations for the state of the game is low. Like, I'm not expecting anything great. Like, amazing. Oh my god, mind blown for the future for Destiny. My expectations were pretty low. And even though I had my expectations that low, I still was disappointed reading this. And I did read it. We're going to go through this. I'm not going to read everything. I'm just going to pinpoint some stuff and talk about some of these things. I just made a video just talking about, like, me just not liking where Destiny's going, but still going to be playing Destiny here and there, but taking breaks, because that's the healthy move. And I've always said this. It's okay to criticize a game, because that's good in the sense of giving your feedback to something that you're passionate about. Just don't be toxic. But you also can take a break too. And I'm taking a break and giving criticism. So it's not like I'm just moaning about everything and then playing Destiny every day. I am genuinely just taking breaks and playing other games. I mean, I haven't really done much of the Solstice stuff because I've been focused on other things. But I am very passionate about Destiny. You know, Destiny has been this very unique experience, and I want it to thrive. And this blog, oh my gosh, it hurts the soul. I said with the future of Destiny that because they got billions of dollars, so money shouldn't be an issue. And they're also hiring so many employees that I thought that they would start having teams made where they would be focused on areas that have been doing horrible. And there's some stuff in here. There is. And I might miss some stuff because I probably won't read the whole thing, but we'll pinpoint some stuff, of course. But so yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess. So, like, for starters, they talk about, like, ritual updates and stuff, while also addressing feedback. We've been tracking a number of player feedback items over the past few months. While we've covered some issues recently, including the roadmap for improvements in general stability, it's time for a detailed check-in on our progress in several areas of the game, and I respect that. But I feel like some of the things was completely just brushed away a little too quickly. But anyways, so ritual updates. We've heard plenty of feedback from players that our core ritual playlists should feel more consistently rewarding to play, and those rewards should drop more frequently, regardless of the activities you like to play. We agree. Let's talk about what we've got so far. With Season of the Deep, we've upgraded the weekly ritual challenge rewards with exotic engrams. Yeah, we're updating those weekly ritual challenge requirements so players can complete their 9 challenges in any ritual activity. So if you want to just do Crucible, you can just do Crucible. As opposed to having to complete 3 across, all the modes. Will also be increasing frequency of ritual engram drops after completing ritual activities. And we're making the latest ritual loot pool weapons focusable at their respective vendor. So, nice. We're loading up our ritual vendors with fresh weapons in Season 22, including the Unending Tempest Stasis Machine Gun and Crucible Luna Rogolith 3 Solar Sniper Rifle and Strikes, and Quausafen 5 words. I'm dyslexic. Void Machine Gun and Gambit, and the Cataphract GL3 Strand Grenade Launcher and Trials of Osiris. We're also bringing some fan favorites back in the ritual playlist, including Igneous Hammer for Trials, revamped Warden's Law into the brand new archetype as a Nightfall reward. This is how, so, like, nice, okay, some stuff. Guardians versus Guardians, here we go. We talk about PvP. Thanks to the hard work of multiple teams, we've delivered several additions to PvP over the past few seasons. These include the launch of competitive division, multiple new game modes, and a revamp of Trials of Osiris, new competitive and Trials rewards, Fireteam matchmaking improvements, new rotator playlist, PvP specific weapon tuning, several quality of life improvements, and more. However, we know our hardcore PvP players want more maps, fewer cheaters, and an ever-evolving meta that feels good to compete in. You said the magic words. What do you got? Well, the most frequent feedback we see is that there is not enough new PvP content, specifically new maps. To set expectations, our studio structure is built to support more overarching updates to PvP like the ones above, rather than focusing exclusively on maps. Why? Well, when we do focus our resources on building new Crucible maps, it comes with a trade-off of multiple teams' bandwidth on work that contributes to a variety of experiences that players also hold dear, such as a new story or exotic mission, core activities that make up the foundation of each season, or new destinations. Similarly, bringing back reprise maps also involves extensive porting to the latest version of Destiny 2, which requires additional resources to ensure the maps work correctly for multiple game modes and playstyles for years to come. This was so... listen, I really don't want to armchair dev here, but wouldn't it make sense to specifically, number one, have a team that is there for making PvP maps? PvP maps. That's it. Like, they don't, they don't have to work on destinations or all this other stuff. Like, it makes no sense. That right there makes no sense. Why are you having so many people work on many things instead of exclusively a team for a big portion of Destiny? Like it or not, PvP is a big portion of Destiny. It's a core playlist. Why is there not a specific team working on it? It could be because of Marathon. It could. But I don't get it. I really don't. But not only that, but them to say we also need additional resources, like right here, to ensure the maps work correctly for multiple game modes and play styles. Bungie, are you Bungie? Listen, I've been around since Halo, okay? Last time I checked, not every game mode works on Sand Trap. Not every game mode works on Guardian from Halo 3. Like, not every map. They even, I remember seeing like their vidocs back in the day for like Halo 3, where they were like, this map is so good for Capture the Flag. So good. It was made from the ground up for that mode. Here's also a map that's great for 3v3, 6v6. Like, Sand Trap is great for big team battle. I mean, Destiny 1. Are you going to really say that Rift is amazing for Bastion? That giant Mars map? Instead of ensuring that maps work correctly with multiple game modes, just make maps. Have fun with them. Small and large maps that, who knows? Some of them are not going to be the best, and some of them are. That's the unique part about making maps, is having fun with them. What is this? What am I reading? Is it because you don't make direct money from the core playlist that you're just like, yeah, this is the reason? Like, you don't want to have a team specifically making maps? It just doesn't. I'm sorry, what? I don't. Explain this to me. Like, tell me why. I'm not trying. I don't want to be an armchair dev, but what? What do you mean? Stop trying to do that. Like, if if every year an expansion dropped with 4 PvP maps, and there were like variations from like small to large maps, yeah, some of them might not work for Rift or whatever modes and trials and stuff, but there would be maps, and they would probably do well for certain modes. Like, if we had that every year, at least 4 maps on an expansion. And that's, I mean, I can't remember how many we got with, like, Taken King, but it was, like, 6 maps or something like that, or more. 8? I don't know. But 4 on an expansion, and then, like, every season, 1 new PvP map. Imagine. Every season was, like, just adding into it. That's the problem with PvP, is that it's so stale. Because you're playing on I mean, granted, this map looks great. Like, they're working on, so they're doing a Vex-themed map. And it looks cool. I can't wait to play it. I'm super excited to play this. It might be bad, but I'm excited to try something new. And that's what I liked. Like, when playing a new map for the first time. So we got that. We got like a new modifier. Checkmate is a modifier where rich primary weapon fights can happen more often, and gun skill can be augmented by communication and strong positioning. Primary weapon damage has been tuned to feel different than the rest of the game without being jarring, reducing the gap between the faster killing weapons and average time to kill, and an average pushing longer range primaries into slower killing profiles. Player health has been increased, all ability cooldowns are lengthened, and special ammunition has been earned via gameplay and not dropped on death. This all results in slightly longer combat encounters. Like, this is interesting to try out. Like, okay, cool. Then we got Relic, another mode, 6v6 party mode, where players wreak havoc and destruction on their foes with relic weapons. Relics include the Aegis from Vaulted Glass, synaptic spears from Season of the Riven, a scythe from Season of Haunted. Each player charges their personal relic energy by defeating opponents with their normal loadout. Upon reaching full charge, players can acquire a relic from a relic depot, defeating relic holders and using the relic. Like, this sounds cool. Like, chaos. I like this. Like, I love party modes. They're fun. And I also like something that's competitive. That's so good. Matchmaking improvements. There's nothing really interesting in here other than skill-based work great. We'll continue to do more with that. Which, however you feel about skill-based, I just don't think it's been working. Like, they tune it for months, and I'm still getting like super laggy matches, and it's just not fun. And then doing like open lobbies with the community has been a nightmare because we have different skills in the fire team, and the matchmaking is just like, nope, we gotta put you with the sweatiest team on the enemy team. So some people are not having fun when doing the open lobbies. So more to come to season 23. We're planning to deliver a new Iron Banner mode, like, nice. And along with a brand new Hake aggressive frame, strand, pulse rifle, more green, as our newest competitive division weapon reward. And as a reminder, we're also focusing our map reprisal efforts. Yeah, Vanguard. Oh god, this one. I love Vanguard playlists. I may be like one of the few people that was able to go into Destiny 1 and genuinely have fun playing strikes. Like, it was just because every strike was so unique, where they updated where it would change. Like, the enemies would change. Sometimes even the bosses. I think the bosses thing was also really unique, and I wish that they took that further into Destiny 2 with the strikes, not the battlegrounds, because I know that battlegrounds can change and stuff, but battlegrounds play as a seasonal like activity, not a strike. It's like always a copy paste. You go in a room, here's some enemies, defeat them, the end. Like you could go to the next room and do the same thing. It's just, I really wish like strikes would be more unique. I mean, like look at the trains in the Warden of Nothing, I believe is the strike's name. And that was fun. I like that. Like unique things about the strike. Battlegrounds don't really always have something unique in most cases. But anyways, Vanguard playlists are currently in a solid place with a healthy population. Oh god. See, that mindset right away is like you're looking at the population and you're not going, well, let's make it better. Like it's just like we're playing it safe. But okay, let's get into it. Vanguard medals will be available in Vanguard Ops. Good. I love that they're finally putting that in there. Like the strike scoring thing. Finally. Good. You know, contribute to scoring, attain higher scores and reputation multipliers by performing unique actions. Like, cool. I like that. I love that is being added finally. But again, that is something that's been around since Destiny 1. Like, well, I can't remember. I think it was like the free update for Dawning is when they added it. But cool. At least it's finally here. But yeah, some will remain in Guardian games, I guess. Medals, whatever. Like, yeah, don't expect finishers to grant you a medal in Nightfalls. Okay. But yeah, nice. We also recently focused more of our team's resources into more varied and frequent seasonal activities such as battlegrounds that can later make their way into Vanguard playlists alongside our strikes and eventually serve as new additions to Nightfall and Grandmaster playlists. My gosh, we just got done doing a Grandmaster on the Moon Psyops seasonal activity, and we killed every champion, like where there was nothing on our radar, no enemies, and we got gold at the end. Because supposedly people were saying if you kill the enemies on the bridge too quickly or something happens or you kill the unstoppable, all the enemies disappear, including one of the champions. Like, they don't even put in, like, the time to realize, okay, we shouldn't do that to our champions. Like, champions shouldn't despawn. And if they do, it shouldn't affect you getting platinum at all. It shouldn't. Like, so, yeah, thanks. Cool, you're adding more pain. While this can come at a cost of other content in a given year, we feel this exchange has been worth the extra investment and overall health of our playlists. As a result, we'll have additional battlegrounds coming into the Nightfall and Grandmaster Nightfall rotations in Season 22 and 23. Great. Like, this is what I'm saying. No strike exclusives. Again, who knows what the showcase will bring, but strike exclusives. That was one of the things that was so cool. Remnant 2 is a game that I actually recently been playing, and when you kill the bosses in there, you get a weapon that is aesthetically and feels like to the boss. It's so cool. I miss that with like Destiny 1. Like you killed Tanix and you would get his cloak. Like imagine if every strike had a unique armor piece for each class and one weapon. Like, so there was RNG to every single strike. Like that should have been the focus, but they were like, well, it's healthy, so just put more battlegrounds in there. It's like, and okay, oh no, Gambit. Okay, so this, okay, as many of you notice, we've been quiet on Gambit since last year's overhaul that launched alongside with Witch Queen, and that revamped the team made significant changes across 5 categories in Gambit. Core activity fundamentals, primeval tuning, invasions, ammo economy, and rewards. Unfortunately, these updates didn't move the needle for player engagement, although we know our Gambit fans mostly care about new or returning maps. This is an area of the game with lower engagement that would take resources away from more popular parts of the game to sure. Okay, we'll come back to it. Let's continue reading. While we don't have plans to dedicate more resources to significantly transform Gambit, we do have a few updates planned for the year of the final shape. This includes porting the Cathedral of Scars map and its beautiful Dreaming City setting into the latest version of Destiny 2, as well as adding Shadow Legion and Lucent Hive enemy types. Oh boy. Before then, we're making Gambit entirely optional to maximize your rewards, unless you're looking for a piece of gear that's specific. Just less seasonal challenges. They're basically saying you don't have to play Gambit after this point. But okay, so are you serious? Well, we tried this and it didn't work, and we noticed that engagement is low, so let's not do anything about it. Is that, are we being like gaslit? Like, this blog made me feel like this was all passive aggressive in certain areas. It really does, and like feeling like gaslit. I'm sorry, like Bungie, this is not good. So it's our fault. Here's what you should have done. You had Gambit Prime, where you had these like unique roles for everybody, but it was tied to armor. If you took that and made it into like where you're loading in, you have to choose your class kind of thing, invader, collector, and all that stuff, and made it like that, and have the roles back and have some unique like kind of aspects to that, I feel like this would have been more exciting. And but the fact that you were just like, you did like I hate to be this way, the bare minimum on changing core fundamentals in Gambit, and you're like expecting that everyone's gonna fall in love with it. What is this mindset? You did the bare minimum. You removed stuff, you removed maps, you removed Gambit Prime, and then made like a generalized mode, and didn't do anything super unique, didn't add like any cool like party modes or something to mess with. Really didn't do much to like rewards or like cool quests, like how like Malfeasance was or something like that. But I guarantee if you added more maps, people would be engaging more to Gambit. If you changed huge things about Gambit, like huge changes like this, like I said, the roles and stuff into Gambit, people probably would enjoy Gambit a lot more. But here we are, and you're basically saying it's our fault that we didn't engage into it because you did so much on that revamp. So they essentially just said Gambit is going to die. And where I was like at first, oh, this is fine, this is just stuff coming maybe like next season or whatever. They literally say it, final shape. That this is where was it? Yeah. The year of final shape. So this is happening not this year, but when final shape drops, like obviously probably like around February, I'm gonna guess. If it releases the same time as all the expansions recently. So, yikes. So there was nothing. This is not even something that's happening soon. We have to wait even longer. They flat out said, I wish I remember the quote, but I remember it was like in 2022 or 1 where they said that like Gambit is going to get like way more resources, and even they talked about PvP getting consistent roadmaps to maps, and that's not even happening. Like, what happened? Oh, and here is the big one. And this is one I'm not going to be nice. I'm not going to be nice because I am going to address the corporate viewpoint of this that is there. A long time ago, we shared a plan to address concerns on reward balance. Players have pointed out that we didn't release a new armor set for the ritual playlists. Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit, with Nightfall as previously called out in our yearly release schedule. Delivering ritual sets at the rates we have in the past has become increasingly challenging, especially considering these sets have historically had very low adoption by players as both base armor and cosmetic ornaments. At this time, we are amending our delivery plans for how often we refresh these sets and will no longer be creating new sets for every expansion. However, we are prioritizing the delivery of new ritual armor sets alongside the final shape to infuse some new looks you'll be able to show off from time in the Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit playlists. We also have a new armor set for Trials of Osiris in just a few short weeks, coming in Season 22. Number one, well, let's go for the challenging and stuff first. But let's start with that, because it literally goes like hand to hand. So delivering ritual armor sets at the rates we have in the past has become increasingly challenging, especially considering these sets have historically, so increasingly challenging. Bull, you made me so angry reading this, because you know this is flat out saying you're lying. Why is Eververse getting not only do they get a new armor set in the Eververse store, directly in the Eververse store, there's one for a season, then there's one for the event during that season, then there's the Battle Pass ritual armor. Increasingly difficult, huh? Or it's because you're not making direct revenue, quote unquote, when, you know, you're paying $100 for an expansion that increasingly has been increasing in price every year, it seems, at this point, including the seasons, when there's not content being increased. What do you mean? Everyone was blowing up about this, and now I get why, because when I got to this point, I was like, no way did they just say that. Did they just flat out say that it was too hard to make armor in the ritual activities? Maybe if you took time away from the Eververse store, maybe then it wouldn't be as hard. But you won't do that because you know that makes direct monetization and stuff like that, and that's just horrible. Horrible. But okay, fine, all right. You know, to be honest, I'm not going to make a giant fuss about armor sets in the ritual activities. Like, I much rather have weapons and stuff, and, you know, new maps and stuff. Fine, but we're not even getting new maps. Gambit is going to die. Like, Vanguard playlist is getting more battlegrounds. Yippee! No strike exclusives. What? But here, especially considering these sets have historically had low adoption by players as both base armor and cosmetic ornaments. So I might put it on the screen, but I really want to put on the screen two images. On the top, the ritual armor that they're like, nobody likes, and we don't know why. And then the armor from the Eververse store. I wonder why. Probably because the ritual armor looks so horribly disgusting compared to the Eververse armor. They look bad. They don't look exciting and unique. They just look like they're just quickly done. I mean, of course, like this again, going to like the gaslit, like, oh, it's your fault. You know, you're not using the ritual armor set, so we're not going to do them anymore. Instead of taking like blame for themselves to being like, yes, we know that they did not like do well on expectations, like the fit those modes. Like, when I saw the armors, I didn't think, wow, that definitely looks like a Vanguard armor set or a Crucible or a Gambit. No, they just looked like metal that you just were like, I wear this. No. Oh my god, but yeah, and then the game security and, you know, whatever stability updates, which is good. They're looking into fixing stability and stuff like that and dealing with cheaters and whatever. And, you know, they talk about seasonal structure getting like better, which they're talking about a like some kind of like way of like removing bounties in the seasonal or the next destination where I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, it's just going to get you a prime engram or something like that. But they talk about like quality of life, sandbox updates, even talking about like armor, exotic armor getting updates. We're also getting favorites finally to shaders. So now you can pin up to 100 of your favorite shaders, ornaments, and emotes to the top of the list starting in Season 22, which, nice. I like that. Stasis aspects, finally you can just get them with Glimmer or whatever. Now they make the transmats unlocks, thank goodness. You know, resources now have a tab so they can explain like where you get them or whatever. Iron Banners challenges are being split where you can not have to use a specific subclass. Like if you're just looking for rank ups, you know, new strand here, like sandbox updates, like new strand aspects, exotic armor rework, new weapon tuning and stuff, like cool. And I don't know if it's stated here. I can't remember. I'm not gonna go through this, but they talk about even like how the story is good and we should just realize it's good. It's just, this is not I'm sorry, but this is disappointing and it is the most corporate viewpoint ever. If you don't like the honesty, then I don't know what to tell you, because that's literally what you're doing. This is a corporate viewpoint on all this. The reason why we're not getting PvP maps, Gambit content, and not even really much with the core playlists, Vanguard playlists like Strikes being more unique, is because they do not make direct revenue. And I even said this in videos previous that the game going into this new model that I haven't seen with like any other game that I can think of, where it's not free to play and it's not pay to play. It's like free to try. It's in this weird mix spot that it has been the worst gaming experience because of that. Because you're spending all this money that with less and less content. Like the prices of these expansions keep going up, but it feels like we're getting less and less. And it sucks. Like Forsaken, and then they always talk about that's the other thing that's been thrown around, because Bungie said, like, you know, never, you know, over deliver. They're not even doing the bare minimum for over delivery. Over delivery, in my opinion, would be like doing exactly the same amount of content for Forsaken for every expansion. I was like giving the reality that I was like, I'm not expecting every year to be the same level of Forsaken. That's why my expectations with Shadowkeep was very low. Excuse me. It was very low because it was not priced as much as Forsaken. And it was the next expansion after a huge expansion, like Taken King going to Rise of Iron. Like Rise of Iron was a pretty good expansion, but it wasn't as big as Taken King. It wasn't. And I think that it was priced a little bit less. That's my expectations. But now you got them monetizing everything and too much. And they're asking for so much money. For what? What? Like, Eververse, you got the battle passes that are increased to $12 now, and you can't even get a silver bundle that's $12, and you can't directly buy it with, like, you know, money. You have to use silver. So that they pretty much are trying to push you to get the $15 bundle. So technically every season is now $15 if you think about it. You got the dungeon keys for like buying those if you don't get the digital deluxe, which a digital deluxe of an expansion is like $100. I think Nightfall was like $100. And even though they're priced to like a full game, it's still not even scratching what Forsaken had. Like Forsaken had a huge overhaul to the game. Huge. They had 2 patrol zones, an endgame patrol zone too. Like the Dreaming City had like all these quests and stuff like that. A long story, 1 raid, innovations like Gambit was introduced, a whole new like core playlist, the first ever dungeon, and tons of exotics. You know, new armor for every vendor and weapons and just big amounts of content. And now that is considered over delivery. But the thing is, we're getting bare minimum every year now. Like, it's okay to over deliver, quote unquote, or actually deliver to the price tag that you are pricing your expansions. I'm fine. If Destiny was a free-to-play game, I'd shut up and be like, okay, fair enough. Understandable on where things are right now because it's free-to-play. But it's not. It is not a free-to-play game. It's not. And they use that word. Like, just like how they considered Destiny an MMO. It's not an MMO. It's disappointing. Bungie, please own up to this. Like, bottom line is, you are becoming the enemy that you left. Activision, you're being way too greedy. You're focusing too much on aspects of revenue rather than aspects of innovations for Destiny, for the player base. Like, Destiny should be about the video game, and instead it's about this ongoing way of continuing revenue rather than trying to do things cool and unique. Like I said, fun. You know, making PvP maps should be fun over there at Bungie. Like, who cares if the map is not going to work greatly with Rift, but it might be funny to try it out. But that's okay. If you make multiple maps for an expansion every year, you're going to have some maps not be the best, but at least you have some new maps. Same thing with Gambit. Same thing. Like, that was the unique part about Halo. You would get some maps that weren't the best for every mode. That was what they even did back then with making maps, with making content. They would flat out tell you, hey, this map is really good for capture the flag. We made this from the ground up for that mode. Great. That's cool. Like, they could do that with, like, Destiny with Rift. Oh, this one's really specifically made for Rift. Like Cathedral Dusk. Oh, you know, this one's really good for, well, I don't know. 6v6 or something. Like, but the point is them saying all this stuff. Bottom line is, they don't make direct revenue from these areas, so why bother? Why bother? It is like, I'm trying to take it with a grain of salt, and I'm sorry that I've been really negative with all this stuff. Because I am probably going to be super hyped when Final Shape drops, like as in the showcase, and when it obviously releases. Like, I'm excited about the story. I'm excited to see the stuff that's shown, and I will be hyped about it. I will. But this is not looking like a really good future for Destiny at all. And I really, really do hope that they reconsider a lot of the things that they said here. Like, they need to dedicate a team for the core playlists. They do. Like, hire more people. You have billions of dollars. And the thing is this is no hate towards the devs. What the devs work on is good. I'm not saying devs are lazy. This is not on them. This is higher ups decision making. I mean, when they said, "Oh, don't over deliver," they were flat out telling devs, "Hey, we know that you really love making stuff, but don't do too much. Don't be too excited." And it sucks. Like, I think that making fun things should be the priority. I mean, what if we had like somebody on like the sandbox team decide to be like, you know what? Let's add in the custom game private matches options. Like let's add UI or modifier changes where like we can turn on like infinite ammo for special weapons and primary, or well, primaries already have infinite ammo, but heavy weapons. Maybe mess with like the gravity and speed like Halo did. And they were just like, yeah, we want to just do that. Like, this just seems like I'm watching Destiny crawl to a mobile game experience. And I don't like it. But yeah, just the talk about the ritual armor being like, oh yeah, you know, it was bad. No players liked it, so we're not going to do it anymore. Imagine if they said that about Eververse armor. They would never say that. They would never be like, oh yeah, nobody cared about the Eververse armor. No, they would double down on it. If they were not making revenue from the armor sets in Eververse, they would double down and make them better. Heck, that's what they've been doing. Look at the Fessel Lost armor that's going to be coming out with the crazy stuff with the spider and beetle armor. Ugh, spiders. But they're going crazy this year with Eververse stuff. Like, and they probably will continue to do that. But instead of doubling down, they're like, we give up. Why? Oh, I'll tell you why. Because not direct revenue. They don't have to worry about these areas of the game. They don't. And it sucks. It's a real shame. It really is. Destiny should be more about the video game aspect rather than turning it into a mobile game cash revenue deposit machine. I don't know words. Like Vanguard playlists, just I'm excited about the scoring and stuff, but why more battlegrounds being added? Can we please get unique strikes? The Vex strike that we recently got was not that bad. It was unique. You had a little sparrow part and everything or whatever. Not really that cool and amazing, but it was something unique, I guess, for a bit. You know, getting one new PvP map, but them being like, oh yeah, you know, we can't make more PvP maps because we have people working on, you know, the stuff that makes actual direct revenue, in a way. Like, it sucks. It's a shame. I wish that we lived in a world where Bungie was not saying some of these things and doing these things, but there's still the showcase. It's just, I'll be completely honest, I'm disappointed. I am. I'm sorry that this video was turned into that, but I'm gonna be always honest with all of you. I know that I get comments where people are like, shut up. If you don't like the game, don't play it. I've been taking breaks from it, but I think you need a news flash. When you're passionate about something, you're going to give criticism because you want it to be amazing. For me, I want just one thing to focus on. I want the Vanguard playlist to have innovations past what D1 had. So take what D1 had, the strike exclusives, and like the changing of like routes on the strikes and the bosses at the end and the enemies in between, and enhance those things further, make them more innovative in Destiny 2. But we're like playing catch up, and we're not even at that point because we still don't have strike exclusives. So I criticize those things, because I want that fun video game experience. It's not just about the loot. It isn't. It's about the experience, and it's just I don't know. Regardless, that's what I have to say. God, I don't even know how long have we have 45 minutes talking about this, man, or around there. Oh my God. I mean, I knew that this was going to be a long one. I really knew that this was going to be a long conversation. But I really just wanted to pinpoint all the things I was disappointed on and explain why. I know that I'm always good with my wording as well when it comes to a lot of feeling, like having a lot of emotion in this. But yeah, genuinely, I really I hope things get better. I do. I hope for a brighter future, and I hope this showcase really brings the hype. But with how things are going in certain areas of the game, I'm really sad. And this is kind of why I always go back to, like, if this is what they like were focused on, maybe they should have used their investments on making Forge, like, or like basically allowing the community to make maps for PvP and even like PvE, like allowing us to put spawns for like enemies, AI to roam around and whatever, kind of like what Halo Infinite is trying to do down the road. But and even on top of that, which they would never do, is have the modding community get involved for the PC edition, like how Halo MCC has, where there's like two versions of Halo MCC. There's the one that you can mod and the one that you can't. So then you can't, cheat and stuff like that. But imagine if the community made like strikes and raids and exotics and cool stuff to mess with. I would play Destiny way more on the community made stuff, and that's why they would never do that either. So it's just, that's why I wish they had in-game Forge and stuff, but I don't know. But what are your thoughts in the comments down below? Like, don't be toxic. Like, please, like, let's be very civil about this, because like I cannot stand people who take this game way too seriously, where it becomes way too personal. It's just a video game, and these are people that are like, there are people passionate about Destiny, and they want Destiny to thrive. Like, just share your feelings, but don't be a jerk. Don't be toxic. Just share your feelings. But it stings. It does. But I hope to turn around this negative situation into more positives in other videos. I have funny moment videos that I'll be working on with Destiny and other games, of course, as well. And of course, we have the showcase that's at the end of this month to look forward to as well. So we got that. And yeah. So, well, regardless, thank you for listening. It's been a long video this time around. But yeah. Hope you all have a chibi-tastic day, night, evening, wherever you are. And yeah. Thank you for listening. Chibi out.